Thank you. Again, we want to invite up Anthony Mixer, Enrique, Rico, Dakota Manley, and then remote will be Jay Miller, Jan Nichols, and Sheila Bershaw.
Wonderful. Thank you, Madam Vice Chair, and good morning to each one of you. I'm going to call on Anthony Mixer first. Go right ahead.
All right. Well, good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. For the record, I'm Anthony Mixer. I represent the Washington State Young Republicans, and we're signing in opposed. To start, 554 individuals signed in pro, but 4,621 signed in con on this bill. Many do not want this policy, Madam Chair. I want to start off with page 2, line 9, where in part the bill mentions how the legislature doesn't intend to establish or grant any authority to require taking a vaccine. I'm concerned, however, that just because it is an intent, it doesn't mean it will happen. It may not be the intent of the legislature, for example, that crime rises with policies that coddles criminals, but it happens. And of course, the main objective of this bill is to suppress dissent of what the state deems to be truth. It's Orwellian at its finest. If the vaccine is great, why does the state have to silence dissent against it? If the vaccine is great, shouldn't the results speak for themselves? If the state has to force its best available science, which of course we're unsure who determines that best available science, something isn't right. 1984, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Misker. And Enrique Rico, good morning. Go right ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, members of the committee. My name is Enrique Rico. I'm a resident of Spokane County and a proud Washingtonian. I'm grateful today for the opportunity to speak in opposition of 1531. The lack of clarity of this bill concerns me. This bill contains an emergency clause, as you all know, stating that this is necessary for the immediate preservation of public health and safety. It seems like this bill requires state and local officials to be, quote, guided by the best available science on safety and efficacy of evidence-based measures. Interesting. Does that suggest that Washington state officials do not already follow the best available evidence-based measures? The science. Is this the same science that Dr. Fauci and the CDC used when the 6-foot social distancing rule just sort of appeared without any evidence-based reasoning? But then Fauci took back that statement and said, well, actually what I meant to say was there wasn't a controlled study that compared 6 feet to 3 feet to 10 feet. That doesn't seem very scientific. Is this going to be the same science that rushed a vaccine out in a year and did not have enough data to give patients the proper informed consent about the potential side effects and health risks? This is bad science.
Please wrap up.
Thank you.
And Dakota Manley, good morning. Go right ahead.
Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. It is an honor to speak to you today. My name is Dakota Manley, representing the Washington State's Young Republicans, here in opposition of this bill. This fundamentally flawed bill. While it claims to act in the best interests of the people, it lacks transparency. The vague wording of this bill opens numerous opportunities for misuse and miscommunication. The blank check emphasis that does not provide clear, public available merits or benchmarks for evaluation, while also not providing a mention of how local communities or public can question the open-ended guidelines for exactly what will be promoted and who decides what's the best available science we use. This demonstrates the complete lack of transparency that this bill brings. The people desire honesty from our leaders, along with clear and straightforward government. This bill not only promotes government overreach and administrative complexity and non-transparent administration.
And Mr. Manley, if you could wrap up, please.
I urge you to vote no for this easily manipulated bill.
Certainly.
Thank you.
And we do have a question. Senator Robinson.
Thank you, and thank you for your testimony. Unfortunately, we're in a time when truth is debatable. I'm wondering, as you testify that, you know, this bill does not offer truth and transparency, where would you want the truth to come from?
Well, I can answer that real quick, Madam Chair. We don't want the truth coming from the government.
Okay.
If I may make a statement and kind of answer that as well, if I remember correctly, the last big public health scare was the COVID-19, as I'm sure you all remember. There was a lot of misinformation from everywhere. There's obviously a lot of misinformation from people who had no idea what they were talking about, resharing things online. But I feel like there was also an effort that social media corporations, and especially Twitter, now X, had suppressed and suspended accounts of Ivy League educated doctors and scientists. They were suspended, blocked, and silenced because their opinion wasn't ideal. I think it goes both ways. And again, the wording of this bill makes it seem like Washington state officials don't already follow the best science that's available to you all. So, thank you.
I would also like to answer your question.
Very briefly, Mr. Manley, go ahead.
Absolutely. With regards to a bill like this one, the truth that I want to see is clear, defined words, not these vague blank check statements of, the best available science. What science are we using? What metrics are we using? What are we promoting? I just want to see bills like this more detailed, more explanation of what they're going to do, what's going to happen, instead of these blank check spaces. That's the truth that I'm shooting for. I'm shooting for transparency with this government. I hope that answers your question effectively.
Right.
Thank you for
go right ahead. Do you have a question?
Thank you. You're asking, you say you want detailed information about what criteria will be used. It's common in state law that we use more broad language and that we go through a rulemaking process or we delegate that authority locally. Are you saying that you think it would be better if the state applied more prescriptive authority versus delegating that to local elected officials and local communities, whereas they would be the ones, according to this, the local community health, partnering with people in the community and actually working more closely with the community? Is that what you're saying, that you would rather have it be more state top-down than local?
I'm sorry.
Feel free.
I think, again, if you say the numbers of pro and con again, we're not the only ones that are very skeptical of this. I think there's a lot of people out here that signed con because they just don't see where this is going. And I like that the bill says that this isn't going to, change any vaccine mandates. However, I feel like a lot of people think that this just sets the door for something else in the future. A lot of people just don't trust it. And we're all for limited government up here. We don't think that the state should, micromanage everybody's life to the minutest details. But again, if you look at the pros and the cons, we're not the only ones that feel this way. There's an overwhelming amount of con, I believe. If you could say the numbers again for the record.
Mr. Rico, we will do that at the end of the bill hearing, as we do with each and every bill we hear. Senator Harris has a question.
And I'd like your take on it. On December 8th, 2020, President Trump signed Operation Warp Speed on vaccinations. Where do you stand on that order? And that ultimately is what brought us the vaccine that I think that we're so against as Republicans, it sounds like. So I find that we're in a really weird paradigm. It was our guy that did Operation Warp Speed, signed it December 8th, 2020. Where does that stand, I guess, the young Republicans and myself?
Well, I'll answer on behalf of myself for this one, Senator Harris. I was not. I questioned the Operation Warp Speed. I think that was rushed way too fast. Vaccines, they need years to implement, go through the process of making sure that they're safe, things like that. So, yeah, again, on behalf of myself,
And thank you to each one of you. And we do have to move on.